Is Anwar Ibrahim losing his grip? By AZLAN ADNAN. A waning halo around Reformasi's champion. Despite weathering an extraordinary political ascent, Anwar Ibrahim now finds himself standing on shakier ground than ever before. Sworn in as Malaysia's 10th Prime Minister in November 2022, Anwar is still in the early half of his term, yet his political capital, once buoyed by the weight of reformist hopes and unity rhetoric, is already showing signs of severe erosion. The country may not be on the verge of a leadership crisis, but public disenchantment with Anwar's government is growing deeper and more visible by the week. A polling plateau that hides deeper malaise. Recent opinion surveys, though still showing majority support, hint at the fragility of Anwar's popularity. A May 2025 poll by the Merdeka Center placed his approval rating at 55%, a marginal improvement from previous months. Yet this apparent stabilization belies the underlying malaise in the electorate. Half of all Malaysians surveyed now believe the country is heading in the wrong direction. The reasons are not hard to find. Mounting frustrations over economic stagnation, inflationary pressures, and an overwhelming sense of political inertia have become everyday grievances in coffee shops, family WhatsApp groups, and union halls alike. From moral authority to administrative paralysis, Anwar's government had promised a transformation, not just of policies, but of values. He presented himself as the moral alternative to a political culture defined by corruption and patronage. But after more than a year and a half in power, many Malaysians, including some of his staunchest former allies, are asking whether the man who once symbolized Reformasi has become a prisoner of the very system he vowed to dismantle. The economy. Numbers without narrative. A key source of dissatisfaction lies in the economy. Although Malaysia's GDP grew by 4.4% in the first quarter of the year, that growth has not translated into tangible improvements for ordinary citizens. The rising cost of living, a sluggish job market, and the recent imposition of 25% U.S. tariffs on Malaysian exports, particularly in the semiconductor sector, have all compounded a sense of national unease. The Prime Minister, who also holds the Finance Ministry portfolio, has struggled to articulate a convincing economic narrative to restore public confidence. Instead, fiscal reforms, especially the subsidy rationalization programs, have alienated swathes of the working and middle classes without delivering the promised systemic rebalancing. Civil society's patience wears thin. Perhaps more damaging is the perceived stall in institutional reform. While Anwar has overseen some high-profile prosecutions and administrative changes, watchdog groups like Bursa have accused his administration of slowing the pace of meaningful political overhaul. The Anti-Corruption Commission remains structurally beholden to the executive, judicial appointments lack transparent oversight, and reforms to political financing and constituency boundaries have yet to materialize. Civil society, once the backbone of the Reformasi movement, now regards the current government with suspicion, if not outright frustration. Many fear that Anwar is more interested in consolidating control than delivering justice or transparency. Discord within an alliance is under strain. Even within his own coalition, the Prime Minister faces growing headaches. His party, Parti Keadilan Rakyat, PKR, has seen internal disputes erupt over leadership roles, election processes, and candidate selections. Allegations of vote manipulation during party elections have further fueled discontent. Meanwhile, the alliance with UMNO, once seen as a masterstroke of realpolitik, now looks increasingly strained. UMNO loyalists are still reeling from the corruption convictions of former leaders, and many resent having to play second fiddle to a government they see as ideologically alien and electorally precarious. At the same time, Anwar's multi-ethnic appeal has not translated into strong Malay support. The October 2023 polls showed his personal approval among ethnic Malays at a troubling 24%. Not toppling, but slowly unraveling. Despite these headwinds, Anwar is not in immediate danger of being removed. His unity government still commands a comfortable majority in parliament. He continues to enjoy the backing of key coalition partners, and there is no credible challenger waiting in the wings. But the risk lies not in a sudden ouster. It lies in a slow, debilitating drift toward irrelevance. As public trust wanes and reform fatigue sets in, the very mandate that once empowered Anwar could become his burden. From myth to mandate, the leadership test ahead. Anwar's enduring strength has always been his capacity to adapt, to endure, and to outlast political adversaries. He has survived prison, vilification, and exile, but survival alone is no longer enough. Malaysians are hungry for vision, delivery, and renewal. If Anwar fails to pivot from rhetoric to results, especially in addressing economic inequality, institutional stagnation, and intra-coalition disarray, his historic premiership may end not in scandal or rebellion, but in quiet disappointment. The challenge for Anwar Ibrahim is clear. He must move beyond the mythos of Reformasi and prove himself as a reformer in practice, not merely in legacy. His government has a rare window to build public institutions that last beyond personalities, and to demonstrate that democratic ideals can coexist with pragmatic governance. But that window is narrowing. If he fails to act decisively now, his tenure may be remembered not as the culmination of a lifelong struggle for justice, but as the twilight of a once bright promise. A heartfelt light. To every soul whose hand did give, you've helped me dream, helped me live. In darkest hours your light came through, with hearts so kind, so pure, so true. Your gifts, like stars in deepest night, have steered me gently toward the light. Each coin, each word, each silent prayer, a thread of hope so rich, so rare. My eyes once dimmed now seek the skies, and slowly clearer visions rise. Because of you, I dare to see the world again, its grace, its plea. Your compassion's flame will not just stay with me alone. It lights the way for others wandering through despair to feel the warmth of selfless care. You've shown what love in action means, in quiet ways through giving scenes. You've built a bridge from soul to soul and made the broken feel more whole. So let this thanks rise like a song, a melody both soft and strong. May your example gently call more hearts to rise to give. To fall into the joy of lifting pain, of planting hope where none remains. Your kindness walks beside me still, a light, a love, a living will.
forget to hit that subscribe button to show your support.